Hey guys, Ningen here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and as you can see from the title of the video, today I'm going to be showing off my new favourite team to run in the World Tournament. Obviously, for those of you who follow me on Twitter or was at my stream last night, you know that for the last couple of tournaments we've been running the STR Nuke team. That was cooked up by Mystic Shadow, my Discord mod, and I do really like that team. It can be really fast if you play it right, but it's very item intensive, so you have to make sure you really farm up and restock all of the items between each world tournament. But I stumbled across this particular build. We were talking about it in the stream last night. I think even Truth mentioned transformation boost, but also shout out to, I think it's Parapa on Twitter, who added me, basically running almost the exact same team, but there is one slight difference which I will go over. So we are running a transformation boost team, obviously using the Super Buu leader, and then we have LR Cell, the physical EZA second form Frieza, AGL Frieza. All three of them are AoE units. Then of course we have Jacko and Chaozu for the stuns, and then I'm running a physical Broly friend for his AoE as well. You can run LR Broly because Super Buu's secondary leader skill is Extreme STR 90%, but it will be quite difficult for him to super because he doesn't share a lot of links with people on the team. So we're going to jump straight in. The major difference from the team that was tweeted at me was that they were using the actual physical Broly on the team instead of LR Cell. And from playing it today, I've basically been using this team all day today, and I would actually agree that the Broly is probably the better unit of the two to use. He's more likely to wipe the entire enemy team on times 30 difficulty, even in the finals. But Cell still manages to do it himself, and as far as I know, I'm pretty sure this is a thing. I feel like this is a thing that we've known for ages, but now that I say it, I'm sure somebody's going to come along and tell me that it's wrong. But as far as I'm aware, you do get more points the higher your team cost. So obviously by using LR Cell instead of the physical Broly, we do have a higher team cost. So we will get slightly more points. Now, I was discussing this with some of my friends earlier. I don't know how exactly that shakes out, because if we're getting a few extra points from using a more expensive team, but then the runs are taking slightly longer to finish, then it probably balances out, and it's probably exactly the same. And obviously, because a lot of people run the STR LR Broly or various STR based teams, sometimes your physical units can have trouble immediately killing the STR units if you don't get crits. As we saw here, the EZA legendary Super Saiyan Broly did survive, but then of course we have the AGL Frieza with type advantage here to finish him off. Plus that worked out well for us because we didn't really have the rotations that we want set up from the start, whereas now we are onto the stunner on every rotation setup, which is exactly what we want. So we can go ahead and grab that, and grab these. So the team goes through very quickly, which is obviously what you want. You definitely want, if you are grinding for a high placement, you obviously want a team that will go through each particular run all the way through to the end of the finals as quickly as possible. And one thing about this team is you very rarely ever have to use items. It kind of goes back to the old sort of movie bosses type builds that we always used to run, where the only turn where you're going to have to use an item is if you don't have Jacko or Chaozu on the rotation. And one thing that's really good about this, what's really efficient about the team, is all of our AoE units give themselves ki. So Broly gives himself ki, so as you can see straight away he's ready to go. The Frieza and both the Friezas give themselves ki as long as there's 2 or more opponents, and then of course Cell gives himself ki based on the number of opponents that you have as well. So the only time it can get a little bit shaky, and we might see that during this run, is actually we kind of saw it with the first fight, but we managed to pick up enough orbs for Frieza, is if one unit survives the AoE, then it means that all of the units apart from Broly are basically losing that ability to give themselves a ton of free ki. And then of course Super Boo, he's just kind of there to be the leader. He's going to be an off-rotation unit. He does share a couple of links with some of the units, and you know, if we can, we'll get him a super, because one thing that's happened quite a few times for me is, say for example, the physical second form Frieza will super attack, kill everybody except for the final STR unit, but then the last unit on the rotation is Super Boo, and because I got him a super attack, he will finish off the final enemy. So you can also bring an LR Cell friend. I recommend for the final you definitely bring Broly, just because he can hit a little bit harder. But all the way up to and including the semi-finals, if I spot a Cell that has like 3 dupes or is Rainbow, I will bring them, because like I said, they can do almost as well. I mean, obviously if you find the ideal thing is if you find a Rainbow physical Broly for the final, because obviously the more chance you got to crit is always good. I mean, I guess technically you got the same chance to crit as long as they have 2 dupes, because I'm sure most people will have gone 15 crit in their Brolys. So yeah, we'll get turns like this. So we got Jacko, so we don't need to worry about using an item. I wonder if I can get these STR orbs to fall down. It's probably not going to matter because Boo needs like 9 key. And yeah, we're able to get, even with picking up some physical orbs, we don't need to worry about getting Boo's super attack. And then I guess we can target Majin Vegeta. So one good thing about this team compared to running the STR nuke team is obviously the fact that because we're using a leader skill that actually gives an attack and defense boost, it means we are a little bit safer when it comes to turns where we do have to take a hit. Whereas obviously on the nuke team, if you run into that scenario, you basically have to use an Icarus or use double Yemma. See, this is the scenario. We've got only 1 enemy left, so Frieza loses out on his passive to get extra key. Fortunately, again, we have enough orbs, but even if we didn't, Broly of course keeps his passive. But I think I'll go with Frieza because I'm pretty sure his super attack animation is slightly quicker than Broly's. So because obviously Ghost Ushers and King Yemmas, because you will burn through them quite quickly if you are grinding the World Tournament pretty hard. One benefit that this does give you is if we do have to take 1 hit at the start of the turn, items that I do have in much like greater supply, which you probably saw my item selection at the start, is items like Barber to seal all the enemies, and then the Bulma item, which gives, I think it's 20% attack and defense for 3 turns. It's an item that like I never use, so I swear I have like 600 of them or something like that. So let's bring a Cell. We'll bring the 79% Cell just to show that it still works like this. So if we have to take a hit, I can use a Barber to make sure they don't super attack, and then use a Bulma to upgrade my defense and attack. And it means I know I'm safe from getting killed, because if I have to take 1 hit in the first slot, especially with a little bit of a defense buff, we've got over 200,000 HP on this team. There is no way that 1 normal attack is going to do 200,000 damage to me. So even if they do, I think the highest I've seen is a tech transforming Frieza hit LR Cell for 90,000. But I mean, that's not even half my health. And then of course after that attack, Cell and I think whoever else was in the rotation just proceeded to then kill everyone. So it does work out quite nicely. And here we're in a great position again. We can grab these orbs for Cell because we don't want to accidentally get his 18 key super, and then grab these with Frieza. So we've been quite lucky with having the Jackos and Chaozus on rotation. I don't think we've used a single item in this entire run yet, so that's a good start. But like I said, there may be the odd occasion where a Ghost Usher is warranted, especially if it's a turn where you're going to have to take hits and there's, like, for example, the STR LR Broly in the first slot and you have all of your physical units on rotation. Obviously, the further you get through the event, the more HP the enemies all have. So, unfortunately, the enemy STR Super Boo did survive. Can we get this so that we can get a super attack with our Boo? Not quite. Oh wait, no, yeah, that's 9 key. Yeah, there we go. So Super Boo will finish off the enemy Super Boo here. So I mean, really, that is this turn here. This has been an example. Oh well, self-discarded additional super. This has been the example of the worst case scenario. Is literally just that the enemy survives the AOE, and then you just have to finish them off on the next rotation. And yeah, we've been lucky enough to have Jacko and Chaozu on every single rotation so far. I think we had one in like the prelims, I think, but we weren't getting attacked first, so that's all good. And then we can go into the finals. That Cell guy was called Save Stones. He's obviously he must be hyped for Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. And there we go. There's a Rainbow Broly. So we will hop in to the final. See, the weird thing about the World Tournament is you always seem to come up against teams that are very similar to yours. Like, I wasn't coming up against Transformation Boost teams until I started running a Transformation Boost team. So, but yeah, obviously no hate on the STR nuking team. I was obviously like, you know, bigging it up massively last World Tournament and even leading up into this World Tournament. Like I said, I used it all of the first day yesterday and on stream all day, all evening yesterday. It is still very good, but the major difference is the fact that you really, like I say, you don't have to use many items on this particular build. Now, this is a round where we might actually have to use one, since we unfortunately got Jacko and Chaozu on the first rotation. But, I mean, in a way, I'm kind of glad that it's going to happen, because we can kind of show what I was talking about with how we can set up our turn so we don't have to use our premium items. So it kind of depends what our rotation is going to look like. But yeah, see, in the final, STR units quite easily surviving our AoE supers here. So what we can do now is we can target Cell with these guys. In fact, we could... Actually, no, that's not enough key. I was going to say we could go for the 18 key super on that Cell if we really wanted to like go into overkill territory, but we won't need to. So, because it's the final, this is where you got to be careful. So this is where we use a Baba. So we know now that this Broly in the front slot is not going to super attack us. We have type advantage with the Super Boo, so then we'll go ahead and pop a Bulma. Literally, like I say, just because I have hundreds of them and I never use them. And so that should ensure that with the normal attack from Boo, yeah, look at that, 5,000 damage. And we got a crit as well. So that basically confirms, even if this Broly doesn't get a crit, he will take out LR Cell here. Yeah, there we go. I say LR Cell, it was STR Cell, of course. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't have survived until now. But Broly going ham, getting some crits for 2 mil, and there we go. He takes everybody out, and we are done with that particular run. So, obviously not the quickest time, just because that always kind of happens when you're recording. Like, if you want to try and aim for, if you're grinding like crazy, you want to try and aim for like 10 minutes or less per run. So obviously you can see from the time it was a little bit longer, but I mean, I guess we were on the main screen for a little bit at the start. And it is a little bit slower on the emulator. Like when I'm going for it on my phone, it is very easy to get sub 10-minute runs. So there you go. That is the Transformation Boost team. Like I said, you can quite easily run Broly instead of Cell, or if you don't have one of these two units, you could put Broly on instead. This guy, I have seen people actually using him as the leader, because he has a Transformation Boost leader skill for 77%, and obviously the Boo is kind of useless. He's only really here for his leader skill, but I'm not sure if that will be as effective because you only get 77%. I imagine in the finals on times 30 it would be even more difficult to kill all of the STR units with your physical unit AoEs, but I feel like this works fine. And then one thing to note as well, if you are on JP, or it's going to be for the future for Global, if you swap STR Super Boo for STR Cooler, this team becomes so much better immediately, because not only is Cooler better than Super Boo, just in general, his leader skill has higher attack and defense with slightly less HP, which is perfectly fine. And then in his untransformed state, which, let's be fair, he's going to be untransformed the whole time, because you're going to be blitzing everyone in 1 or 2 turns. In his untransformed state, he's a support unit for his own category, which is it Conquest of Terror? I forget the exact name because we don't have it on global yet. But both of these freezers are on that category. So if he's on rotation with one of these two freezers, then you're much more guaranteed that they are just going to wipe out everyone, especially with the extra attack that he gives from his leader skill. So, but anyway, there you go. That is the team that I am running now. I've got this video recorded when I got home from work, and I'm going to get it uploaded straight away. Keep an eye on the channel because I will be streaming again, and this is the team that I will be using. So, depending how long the video takes to render and upload to YouTube, I should be streaming somewhere within like an hour or half an hour from when this video goes live. So keep an eye on the channel and join me on stream to see more of this team in action. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. You can follow me on Twitch or join my Discord. The link is in the description below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.